have got a flat element plate right there.
Timber. This is going to be the entry point from the driveway. It's going to go right up there. Burn, baby, burn. That's the way to operate right there. The ground's just too soft down there. In the holes, the bottom of the hole is just too soft. If they put the post down in there, it's just going to settle. And that's not good. Well, back to the drawing board and figure out how we're going to deal with this situation and go from there. As you can well imagine, soup doesn't make a good foundation for a post-frame garage.
Man.
You can push that thing down. You can split in half to the mud.
I often wonder why things happen the way they do. At the time, I was really frustrated that we didn't get our shop built that day. We were so close. But God was taking care of us and I just didn't recognize it. You see, we planned on having the garage done the previous summer. Life just kept pushing the build date further and further back until finally we were ready to build. Had we built the shop in the summer, before the wet season, we wouldn't have known that the subsurface was going to turn to mush. We would have found that out the hard way when the building started to sink in the back and our metal siding started to buckle. That would have been devastating. All that time, effort, and money would have been for a sinking building. So it's back to the drawing board. Instead of a post frame that puts the weight of the building on specific points of contact with the ground, we need to spread the weight across the entire foundation. What we need is a poured concrete footer, a cinder block foundation, and a slab concrete floor, and for good measure, a perimeter drain to help take any water away from the building. That should distribute the weight across a large area, which is much more ideal for this job site. This means we'll build a more conventional, stick-built structure. Now we just need it to dry out. Only thing we can do now is wait. Something I've grown used to. Actually, I've got plenty to do in the meantime. That's my girl. All right, so we're at the point where we're getting ready to burn this big old pile of brush. It is absolutely humongous. These are the trees that need to come out so that when this thing's lit up, it doesn't catch it on fire. But we're gonna be removing this tree and this tree as well because of the utility that needs to go to the garage, the electrical. So we need to make sure there's a clear path for the equipment to get up through there to run the electrical. I'm probably gonna knock out a couple of those too, but if my chainsaw will start. Call that ironwood for nothing. That stuff is hard wood. chain's pretty dull. It's amazing what a sharp chain will do. I may as well have been trying to cut those other trees down with a butter knife or a dull spoon as opposed to a sharp spoon. Cuts better when it's sharp. Go figure. All right, right smack dab on the pile. Right where I wanted it. All right, well, I guess I better get that out of the driveway or the missus might be upset. All right, we're back at this today. I'm going to cut this tree down right here. I've got another small tree to cut down and a couple of stumps. So let's get to hacking. Chainsaw experts out there, explain something to me. Why does my chainsaw not cut straight? I started off straight and then it just curves every time. It will not go straight through the wood. Without fail, it always curves to the left. Everything that I've cut so far today, it takes forever to cut. And that's because my chainsaw keeps going like that when I cut. I'm a novice at this stuff, so if somebody can explain that to me, I'd appreciate it. Whew, well, got all the trees down I wanted to get down. End up making a huge burn pile. At least the trees are out of the way so I can burn. You know what I mean? Right now, I'm pretty beat. The bottom part of our property down through here is just a swampy, nasty, stinking mess. My feet are soaked, my pants are soaked. It's just a nasty, watery hole right down in there. Made it very difficult to walk and maneuver, stand up. And I tweaked my back a little bit, so my back's hurting. And I'm not going to touch these stumps right now. I'm going to go inside, get something to eat. I'll evaluate how I feel later. If you think that looks bad, you should see my welds. Well, I just got home from work and I see some changes to my garage plot. My father-in-law came down today and dug back this bank a little bit more. Since we're not going to be doing a post frame building, we're doing a more conventional footer stick built building. We're going to be digging the footers this week. So he came down and kind of got a head start on it. Also, we're going to be putting drain pipe to divert the water that comes down the hill and run it out. So I'm excited to see this because one, it's one step closer to getting the garage built, but two, all this dirt was put down here. And that's exciting because that's going to help smooth out this transition and not be such a hard drop off, you know, so close to the bay door that's going to be right there. The more fill dirt we can put in here, the better. So yeah, we're going to be doing the footers this week. That's the plan anyway. We've had an awful lot of rain over the last few months. That's really hindered any progress we can make. So this is a very welcome sight. So big thanks to my father-in-law, and a lot of work to be done this week. All right, well, my father-in-law came back this evening, the next day, and finished off digging out this back portion of the garage spot. So tonight, tomorrow night, and the day after, we're going to be going full bore on getting the footers prepared so that we can get concrete poured Friday morning. That's the plan anyway. Hopefully the weather holds out, but yeah, starting tonight, we are going to be just attacking this spot, getting this thing ready for footers, and that excites me a lot. I just found out that I make a better window. I don't remember how it goes. I just found out that you're not supposed to stand between the laser and the sensor. Rookie mistake. Come on, Dan, focus. So we're gonna go ahead and do this side next. That way if we get any rain in the next day or two, which they're calling for chances of thunderstorms, but any rain could get in that channel and then we can have it just drain out that way and basically keep this dry up here. So not a bad idea, that's what we're gonna do. remember 6 months ago, this was absolutely soup. It was nasty. It was like diarrhea. But it's dried out pretty good, even though we've had quite a bit of rain the previous 3 months. It ain't soup. That's good. Mechanical advantage. You gotta love it. Well, not too bad for a couple hours in the evening. This looks fantastic. We're all just saying how pleased we are with how it turned out tonight. So very, very good. Still pretty muddy down there. My shoe kind of stuck right there. So it's still damp, but it's way better than it was in January. So we'll get back at this same time tomorrow night. Hey, you know what they said about curiosity and the cat? Better check yourself before you wreck yourself. All right, we're back at it tonight. The fellas are here. I'm already sweating like a pig because it's like 1,000 degrees humidity, whatever that means. So let's get to work. Went through and cut back all the roots that were sticking into the footer trench. I got those cleaned up, picked up any clods and stuff that fell down in it. Keep that nice and clean. You can see the fellows are digging up until this line right here. We're not going to dig from there to there. We're going to leave that flat so the concrete truck can get in and be able to hit that corner. So whenever the concrete truck's here and he's done with that corner, he'll back out, we'll dig that out, and then be able to fill that in when we're done with that. Laser is really cool. We're able to make sure that that trench stays at the right depth all the way through. Excellent tool for this job. as you saw in the time lapse, we've got some of the rebar put down. We've got the rebar chairs and rebar tied down. So that looks pretty good. We've got a few pieces we need to lay in there still, but we've gone as far as we can tonight. We'll have to tackle this again tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a pretty hard day, cutting forms, cutting rebar, getting this thing prepped and ready for concrete that's going to be coming the day after tomorrow, bright and early in the morning. So we got a lot accomplished tonight. We're feeling really good about it, other than these stinking horse flies. They seem to be attracted to me and my brother-in-law. We must stink, I guess. So that's it for us tonight. We'll get back at this tomorrow sometime in the afternoon, and we're gonna keep cranking. We are one step closer, one step closer. We'll see you then. All right, we're about to get back to it. Day 3. You saw me and my father-in-law got some things prepared for this evening. We got the rebar, and then we got the boards for the forms cut. So hopefully this will go smoothly tonight. And if so, everything will be great for tomorrow morning for concrete. So it's been a hot day. I've been outside the majority of the day. This is my second shirt I'm wearing. First one I took off. As I was taking it off, I got a big whiff, and I was instantly back in the football locker room in 1996 at my high school with that smell. Good times. Good times. All right, let's get to it. So we've had a pretty decent heat wave go through. This is day 5, I think. Upper 90s, heat index in the hundreds. So it's been rough in that regard. But we've been really kicking tail. We've gotten a lot done, and if all goes well tonight, Lord willing, we'll have concrete here in the morning. What's up, cat? Supper time. And get these footers finished. I don't know about you, but that's exciting. All right, another night of hard work in the blazing heat, and we're ready for concrete to show up tomorrow. You're probably thinking, well, your footers aren't done. Well, you'd be correct, because they're not. But the way this lot is set out, there's no way that the concrete truck can get in on that side. When the time comes, we got to dig this footer, set the chairs, the rebar, tie it all off, put in one of the form boards as quickly as we possibly can, as accurately as we can, while the concrete truck sits and waits. So that's just the situation that we're in. I wish it was different, but that's where we're at. Tomorrow morning, 7:30, bright and early, we're gonna be out here slinging some concrete. One other thing real quick of note is this side footer, stinking horseflies, get off me. As the footers were being dug down here, my brother-in-law said that this side, somewhere down in this area, is pumping, which I didn't know what he was talking about, but apparently it's water deep in the soil. He said that the ground was pumping. So for us to do a post frame, it would never have worked because of just how saturated the subsurface is. Pouring these footers and tying it all in and then having the concrete pad on top, it is going to be way more structurally sound than a post frame. That post would have sunk eventually, and then our metal would be crippling on the side and sinking, and just it would not be good. So as much as I hated not having our barn done earlier this year, you know, it was a blessing in disguise, and praise the Lord. So I'm gonna go in, take a shower, get a little something to eat, watch a little TV, go to bed. See you tomorrow. Well, here we are, concrete day. So we're getting some last second preparations made. We're ready for the concrete to start slinging. Let's get to it.
This is it.
I've never been this close to one of these. So weird how it's a rock, but it's liquid.
Makes you have to poop, doesn't it? Time capsule. I love hard work. I could stand around and watch it all day.
So this is as high as it's gonna go?
Yeah, they go on for the grade stakes. If you see the grade stakes down in there, they'll pour to the very top of that grade stake. So that's a very specific measurement.
Ah.
And each one of those stakes is the exact same height all the way down through there.
Oh,
That's how they know it's level. If you didn't have those grade stakes, that concrete would be looking like this. laying down for the sleeve for the water line now. Alright, we're home free now. Well, we got it all finished up, just cleaned up. Walked up to the house to grab some things, came back down here, and look what in the world I just found. Rocky. My dog went for a walk. Of course. Of course. Of course. Well, given the nature of the plot that we have, and the fact that you can't get a concrete truck around the perimeter, and we had to dig the footer during the pour, so everything went about as good as it could possibly go. So thank the Lord for that. Other than my idiot dog walking all over the concrete after we were done with it, everything turned out wonderfully. So that's all that we're going to do for today on the job site. The job itself took about an hour and a half, and I believe we used about 8.5 yards. The guy running the truck said there was about 1/4 of a yard left, so that's pushing it really close, but it worked out perfectly fine. All right, I think I'm gonna go hook my dog up, make sure he doesn't come walking down here again, and call it a day for the job site. What do you think of the concrete? She loves it.